All right. Hey guys, how you doing?
What's that?
I'm not sure if I've got everybody muted here or not, but I think you guys can unmute yourself. Excuse me. So I've got a few minutes to answer a couple of questions. Here, let me get a couple people admitted here. Hold on a second. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for showing up, guys, and I apologize for being late on this or rescheduling the Zoom here. I wanted to get any questions answered. I've got about 15 minutes until my next appointment, so I'm just going to go ahead and open it up right away to any questions that I can answer. And let's see, can you guys
You're
unmute?
breaking up there a little bit.
I My internet's been terrible lately. I don't know what to do with this here. Let me see what the internet.
You want co-host, and I can let people in as they come in.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So, um, can you guys unmute yourselves? I'm not sure if I gave that ability or not here. Uh,
Yes,
Kyle,
we can.
okay. Okay. Great. All right. Welcome. So, yeah, and I'm sorry to have to rush this a little bit. I do have another meeting in about 14, 11 minutes now. But let's get as many questions answered as possible here. So, who would like to ask first?
Any takers?
Anybody?
So are we in full launch or are we still in soft launch or how is that working right now?
Yeah, we're still in soft launch. Of course, we still need to get a couple of things ironed out as far as the presentation videos and the tutorial videos. We're going to be adding one additional tutorial video that is actually, a walkthrough on the sign up process. But before we can even record that one, of course, we need to have all of the actual presentation videos on the websites, on all the replica links. So we're very close here. It's probably I'm gonna say I'm guessing by the end of the weekend we'll have everything completely ironed out, and then we can go full launch.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry.
Sure.
Go,
No, go
Kelly.
ahead.
Oh, you're
Kelly.
fine. Go for it.
Well, just I don't know if I came in late or whatever, but is there more information available already than just the two videos that are shared a couple of times already in all of the groups that I'm in right now? Or are we only going to be able to see that once we have the invite link on the website? Or can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, so there's the two videos are there's the 4 minute intro video, and then there's the 12 minute. I'm not sure which one you have actually, but the 12 minute overview video that shows exactly how the payments work and the payouts. That is actually the only materials as far as explanation of the People's Project. I'm not sure which one you have, but yeah, all that stuff will be in place so that it's sequential and much easier to understand. Of course, it'll make a lot more sense when you see it in its full finished form.
Yeah, and because it is on the blockchain, so it has a smart contract. If there is possibility, I can see the smart contract, because normally when you have the link to the BSC scan, we can just see the contract because it's together with the address, right? Or am
So
I?
there's a little bit of misunderstanding, I think, out there in the field as far as it being a smart contract. If you look at something like I don't know, like Curve Finance, or even a lot of the Pancake Swap, smart contracts are out there. Those are full smart contracts that are 100% exclusively smart contract. This is not actually a smart contract in that sense. It definitely. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Another spring. So it's a combination of the Binance Smart Chain and software that actually runs the whole thing. So it's not a smart contract as most of you probably understand what a smart contract is. It's a combination of the Binance Smart Chain and software that actually runs the whole thing.
And how do we then know that it was written good if we are not able to actually read it?
Written good as far as being accurate, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, that it actually will do whatever you want it to do.
Well, because if it didn't, then we wouldn't have a business. If it didn't pay exactly the amounts that we have entered into the software, then nobody would want to participate having not gotten paid, and we wouldn't do that because it would destroy the business before it even started. So that's what I can tell you. But there's not a smart contract like an audit or any kind of like like most traditional smart contracts. You'll have a firm do an audit and stuff like that where people can all of that stuff and examine it, but it's not a smart contract in that sense.
Because I see, I've listened to one of the Zooms now, and I see the vision that you guys have. It's the vision I think that everybody has that is joining us, with as we want to help as much people as possible in the world, and we want to have this loving society, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, once in the crypto world, you always have to stay with your both feet good on the ground.
Oh,
That's
sure.
why, yeah, I'm like,
No, it's
how do
absolutely,
we
it's a
know that
valid
this
question.
is, yeah,
Yeah, it's a very
legit,
good question.
right?
And just so you know, just from personal experience, I have been part of many, many smart contracts and have also gotten burnt many, many times. As these smart contracts fill up with millions and millions of dollars, a lot of times, these creators of smart contracts will pull the rug out from under us, and their payday is $10 million, and then they'll do it again, and they'll rug pull everybody again. But I'm not any kind of a stranger to that unfortunately. But the way that this works is, the most anybody will ever have to spend out of pocket is $28 once. That's it, and there's no money stored in the smart contract per se. There's no smart contract to store money. It's being paid passed through directly to the person that is that the software directs it to. So there's not
Yes, I
like millions
understand
and
that.
millions of dollars being stored in some smart contract online somewhere or on the
But
blockchain.
then shouldn't we be able to actually see that proof that money is not going to be held somewhere, and how it is written and how it is working? Or am I
But you
wrong in that?
can, yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be traceable in the same way as a smart contract, but you can definitely see the transactions on the blockchain.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
only once it is already launched.
Yeah, I mean the way it is right now, we're in soft launch. We're just getting people, like all of you here, I'm sure, are getting positioned and getting your positions right now to prepare for full launch. Once the full launch happens, I mean, you can look up, of course, you can look up any wallet address or any transaction, and it's all public knowledge, of course, on the blockchain. So you'll be able to trace it all.
Okay, and then I think a last question from me. I've heard in your video somebody asked as well, who are the developers, and you didn't want to share who the developers are, but isn't it kind of helpful for everybody if we do know who the developers are? Like what track
Yeah.
record have they? What did they create before this, etc.?
So the developers are. It's not at my discretion to share who those people are. There's one founder of the company or the contract, and I don't have. I'm not at liberty to share that information. But it's you just either you can trust or not, and either way is fine. But I'm not at liberty to share that information. It's not mine to share.
Can you go
Okay.
through, like when you get your 2 people, and are you moving from 1 to level 2 after that? Or can you kind of go through how that works?
Yeah, so when you get your position, when you first sign up with the $28, you're placed into a holding tank, and as soon as you have gotten your first 2 people, you are then given an official position placement in your inviter's first available spot on their board 1. And then from there, the 2 people that you got, as soon as they've gotten their 2, they're also removed from the holding tank and then placed in your first available position on board 1. And then it builds from there. The reason that we did that is because this particular model has been, it's a very old model, a 2x2, matrix type situation. It's a very time tested model. The only problem is that a lot of them have stalled out and fallen flat on their face because people come in and they expect all this spillover, and they come in and they do nothing, that kind of thing. And that'll happen to a degree. It's going to go global. It already is actually becoming global. There's people getting positions already overseas, all over the place. But so that I can't say that won't happen. But the people that don't get to never get placed into the board, and that was one of the biggest changes that we made to the model that is really going to help with that stall out. So it's never been done before, as far as I know, and as far as the leaders that are around me and the people that are getting involved, they've never seen that done before. So that's going to be a
So
very big help.
that's awesome. Real quick too, so I have people that are under me that have 2. We're going real strong. And when I look at the boards, it basically has my first board blue and the rest are purple. Well, at least that's the colors on my phone. And now, will the second board light up when you go to the second board, or how do you view the boards or where you're at? Because all I see is the tree and then the boards, but they just say board 1 through 14.
Yeah, here, let me actually just share my screen with you real quick here, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's the same thing. It is here.
What is the time frame for people to get their 2 before they're removed and refunded while you're pulling that out?
So we have we're gonna, and if you guys have noticed it, when you've gotten logged in, you'll see there's like a flashing there's words that are flashing right there that we're going to change that to a 72-hour countdown timer. And then there's about a 1 week grace period. So if they haven't gotten their 2 by the end of 1 week, then the system will remove them from the holding tank, and they can request a refund. We're going to be building in an automation aspect to that. We're trying to get this thing launched before we add the fancy bells and whistles and full automation for that kind of stuff. What we've decided right now is just for somebody that comes in and for some reason can't get their 2 or can't get help from their sponsor to get their 2, then they can contact their upline and we can get them refunded. In the future, however, though, it'll be automated. We're not here to take anybody's $28. That's not the point. The point is that the $28 is that this whole entire project is designed, number one, to benefit people all over the world with a price point that everybody can afford. And number two is it's designed that it cannot hurt people, because so many people have been hurt by all these different programs out there. We don't want that to be the case. So the maximum that we've allowed anybody to spend is $28. And you can see, by the way, the board one is lit up for me because I'm on board two, but it hasn't filled out yet. See, so, but yeah, it might be just because you haven't selected. I don't know. I guess it lights up every time that you select a different board, but yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look at mine today because I know yesterday I didn't have like anything at the bottom. So I'll check that out. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
I have a quick question. I don't know, I'm sure others do too, but in one of the videos, it talks about it's been around for 15 years. Can you touch on that? Because I don't have a clear understanding of that versus how we're just now launching.
Sure.
So is it a subsidiary or just that it's going on not on the blockchain, but anyway, can you touch on that?
Yeah, so the individual, Larry, that originally we spoke with and commissioned myself and my partner to bring this from a completely offline cycler and crowdfunding model to bring it online and also use the Binance Smart Chain to make it instant so that people don't have to be verifying payments or sending cash or worrying about whether or not their PayPal will get shut down and things like that. So he's been running it for 15 years completely offline and tracking everything literally manually. Like I'm talking like on a spreadsheet, like on an Excel spreadsheet for 15 years. So he's getting up there, almost 80 years old. So he wants to, number one, retire, but he also knows that the future is blatantly looking him in the face and he can't keep up with it anyway. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Anybody else? I've got about another, well, I'm a little bit late now, but I'm gonna go for another about 10 minutes if anybody has any other questions.
Yeah, Tim had one. Is it a forced matrix?
So there's a little bit of a difference from what I understand between forced matrix and a 2x2 cycler. Bottom line is when you place people direct to your own link, when you sign somebody up in your link, and let's say you had a couple of people directly underneath you already, those people will actually fall in underneath your two that you already have. However, they're still tied to your own personal link. So yes, it does force fill that matrix. There's other models that are quite a bit different that they call force matrix as well. But yeah, those positions have to fill, so they have to fall in somewhere, right? So they'll fill in your first matrix, and then as soon as that is filled, then a new board will start as soon as you cycle off of it and cycle onto a new board number one, for instance. Then people will start to fill into that board. So in a sense, yes, it is a forced matrix. There's another definition of forced matrix that I'm not real familiar with. I'm not a cycler expert, or a crowdfunding expert by any means. I just was lucky enough to meet Larry and to meet Joe and to be heading this development up, in a big way. And yeah, I'm just very excited to be part of it. So.
Can you explain again, because I heard in your other Zoom where you said go wide, and like if you find more than 2 people, it's better to put them directly under you, because I've noticed in the groups that everybody is talking about bringing the people down. So like you only have those 2 and then you go down and you help everybody fill it up. Can you speak about that, please?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's better to get as many people as you can directly tied to your own link, to use your link to sign them up, because they are going to fall in underneath your people anyway. However, the disadvantage of the people that you find that want to join and placing them under somebody else's link, say 2, 3, 4 levels below you, is that it's a follow me. It's a true follow me system. So anybody that you sign up directly to your link, every time that person cycles, they are going to follow you, and the system will find your first open position in whichever board you're on and drop in right underneath you. If you sign them up under somebody 4 levels down from you, they're going to follow that person, which will help them cycle, which then will help their sponsor cycle, which will help their sponsor cycle, and then eventually get up to you, and that person will cycle that is tied to you and help you cycle. So it really slows down your own progression if you start signing people up under other people's links below you. It doesn't really have any benefit to do that.
But if you have the vision of we have to help as much people as possible, isn't it then better to go down and help everybody under you instead of just doing it wide? Because then you're more thinking about yourself and not about the community, no?
Well, I would say no to that because number one, when you are placing people direct to your own link, they are going to fall in under those folks anyway, because there's only
Yeah.
so many spaces, or there's only one matrix to fill at a time, so they're going to fall in under them anyway. If somebody's really struggling and they can only get one person and they're just like, I can't find another person to come up with $28, sure, use their link and sign somebody up for them. That's fine. But what I would say is, everybody should be able to find at least, at least 2. But if you can get at least, 10, 20, 30 people to your own personal link, and then teach people how to do the same thing or help other people to do the same thing, that's much more beneficial to them and to yourself, as opposed to just giving them people. Because then it creates a culture of, well, just hand me people. I can come in and just, or they'll tell their friends, hey, I just came in and my sponsor just did it for me. So just come in, just get a spot.
Yeah,
That's what we
true.
want to
You have
avoid.
give the good example. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you touched on that. I definitely did not gather that from what I've been hearing. So really glad you asked that question, Lucia.
You're welcome.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
questions benefit
that
everybody,
could be
so
my fault.
please.
I'm the one that started that because I was told that building straight down is beneficial for everyone. But the good thing is we at least got it started and got the main people that have been waiting and in the group this whole time. Got the motion going basically. So I would definitely take blame for that.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with anything the way it is right now. There's a world of 8 billion people out there, and this is a price point that 90% of the entire planet can afford. So don't worry about if you had placed a couple people, even 50 people, on the wrong, not saying wrong link, but other people's links. It's not by no means is that all the people that are going to come in, right? So you'll always come across people that are looking for an opportunity and looking to bless others. So don't worry about it. Just get at least 20 or 30 people if you can. It's not like a requirement, but if you can get 20 or 30 people directly to you that do see the same vision, that will help. Number one, it'll help you cycle faster, but it also empowers you to show people exactly what to do as well and show them how to cycle faster themselves and how to build it. Anything above and beyond like 30, 40 people, then yeah, I would start just, finding the people below you that are that are really dedicated to it and really want to build and help a lot of people. And then I'd start giving my excess people above like 40 directs. Then I would start putting them under those leaders.
So am I correcting this correct? And am I understanding this correctly? So if I would put in, say, like 10 people, and it's only a 2x2 matrix. So I have my 2 people, they both have their 2 people, but then like 3, 4 levels down or something, there is 1 people one person is still missing a person, will one of those 8 people that also have like fill in that gap at the bottom to get it trickled up again and getting paid out for all the levels above that?
It will fall in under that person and fill in that gap. However, it will not count towards that person's minimum of 2 personal enrollment requirement. So everybody's got to get at least 2 people on their own personal link to get activated and actually placed on the board in the first place. If that doesn't happen, then they won't get any spillover or have those gaps filled in underneath them in the first place, because they don't even have a spot in the matrix in the first place. You've got to make sure that everybody gets at least 2 on their own link, first and foremost. And I think that everybody can do that within, well, like with a phone call. 3 days I think is plenty to get, and we have a grace period of at least 1 week after that. So that's plenty of time, I think, to find 2 people that can come up with $28 and see and that have the same vision.
So what happens if you are then placed in the holding tank and you don't find your people within that week? You get your money back. I get that, because you are not yet actively participating. So you get kicked out after a week. And what if you then decide to get in again? So you're being placed in the holding tank again and again and again until you find those 2 people.
Yeah.
So you have eventually how do you say that? Unlimited. And you just
I don't know if it's my internet. My internet's been horrible today, but you're breaking up a little bit there. So I think I heard the question right. You were saying that if somebody comes in, they don't get their 2 for some reason, the system removes them, they get their money back. Can they rejoin? The answer is yes, and they can try again.
With the same what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So eventually you have a limited amount of time to find your 2 people.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 1 week period that you have to find it before the system will remove you from the system. Yeah. It'll delete your your username. It's not going to delete your wallet address. The wallet address doesn't matter. No. But yes, you can just rejoin. You just have to just sign up again, and you'd be a little bit behind, but it's not a big deal. You can come in again at any point. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Adam, you have a question?
Yes, I have 2 questions, please.
Go ahead.
About I want to build an automation page. So is it safe to send the traffic direct to my referral link? For example, if I run like solo ad or paid traffic, so I explain everything. I like a funnel. I explain everything in the page in videos, step by step, then give people direct link. Is it safe to put direct link in this page? And
no, so absolutely no advertising, no solo ads, no cold traffic, no YouTube posts. We're not allowing any kind of just cold advertising. There's no need for it, number 1, and number 2, this is a private activity. We want to keep the group tight, and we want to make sure that people are not spamming or using the name of the people's project. But yeah, I understand, and it's a very good question. But there's no way for us to necessarily police that or find people. But we want to develop a community that self regulates and self polices it. And if you see somebody spamming their link out there, or advertising, spending money on advertising to do solo ads, we would like that person to step forward and say, hey, this guy with this username is advertising it all over the place on YouTube or Facebook or wherever.
What about if I advertise my calendar link and I invite people to a Zoom link and Zoom call, and in this Zoom call, if like 10 people sign up, it's safe, it's okay, I share the link only in Zoom?
That's fine. If you have advertised something, just an opportunity to come and listen to what you have to say, you can then present it. But if you're advertising your link itself, to a cold market, that's what we don't want people to do. But yeah, if you have, a group of people that are already in, like an email list that you may have built over the years, or, your own personal Facebook following, or Twitter following, or, whatever, Instagram following, that's fine. Those are people that we
That's
consider
good.
you already have a
Ah,
relationship with.
that's it.
It's friend
Another
to friend,
question, please.
person to
Sorry.
person, relationship to relationship.
Okay. So if I want to put my daughter account, can I use the same MetaMask, or I should set up MetaMask for her?
Yeah, so good question. So you can do that. Now keep in mind, everybody has to get at least two, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and it's totally fine if you want to, if you want to help your family, your kids, your loved ones, what have you. But just remember that that each one of them has to get at least two. And those two people, if they are just, not doing anything, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help them. And it also it slows everybody down in the entire community. So
I
you
see.
definitely don't want to just sign up people that are going to do nothing. Makes
Thank
sense.
you.
But yeah, you
Thank
can do that. You want to make
Mm.
sure that you put two, people that see the vision, that want to build, place them under those folks that you're,
Sure, sure.
kids or whatever.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, maybe another question. I heard you say before, if people need to be paid back one time, that will be automated as well. Am I correct? So that means that that's not yet automated.
Not yet.
Isn't that going to give problems if not everything is perfectly automated and ready to go?
Well, it's almost ready to go, and all these the fine tuning of automated countdown timer, refunding people. That's something that is going to take extra programming and extra time, and we didn't want to wait an extra month or something to have that special programmed, especially programmed into the software. So we have decided to just go ahead and launch. If somebody gets in with $28 and they just can't find their two, then we will absolutely refund them. They just have to make the request upline.
Will it be available on the phone at some point?
I'm sorry, on the what?
On the cell phone? It's not working on the cell phones right now.
Yeah, that's
Well,
something that we're
not for
looking at.
everybody anyway.
Yeah, I know it. The Android phones seem to be the one that's having the problem the most, and unfortunately, that's a majority of the world's population uses phones. Number one, to do anything on the internet. So that's at the very top of our list to get resolved before we go full launch.
Yeah, I think that like 80% only has phones.
I know it. That's right. That's about exactly the number. That's almost exactly right.
Yeah. So if you want to have the
Yep.
whole world, that has
It's
to be
got
like
it.
done
Oh, I know.
yesterday, right?
I know. Trust me, that's at the very, very top of the list, because we just discovered that over the last few days of the beta
Okay.
rollout.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi,
Since I am
Mika.
about 5 minutes past my next meeting here, I had to. I was going to hop on here for 15 minutes, but I had to cancel one appointment. But I do have another meeting that I cannot cancel. We'll do this again though, and we're just literally days away. I mean, I'm hoping and praying to God that we can have this completed, totally completed, tested out with phones, Android phones, Apple phones, computers, and have everything working perfectly by the end of the weekend.
Could it be possible to
very
have a
good.
Zoom with the devs that they can answer a couple of techie questions?
It would be almost impossible. I can barely understand them myself. Their accents are so incredibly thick. We have trouble communicating with them after all these months. Not possible.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Okay.
Yep. Any last minute questions?
Yeah, I've got one, Mika.
Yes, go ahead, Carol.
I was late coming into this meeting, so you may have already covered this. But when people are in the holding tank and they've got 72 days to get their two people, it was mentioned that there's a grace period. What's the grace in the videos? It mentions that there's a grace period. What's the grace period after 72 hours if you don't get your two people?
7 days. 7 days.
Oh, 7 days after the 72 hours.
Correct, and it's not activated right now, by the way, Carol, just so you know. We have not actually turned that functionality on yet because we're in beta. But yeah, once we go full launch, then it will be a 1 week grace period after the 72 hours. And you'll see a countdown timer in the back office as soon as we have that programmed in as well. But we're not enforcing that at all right now because we've got like 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake at the same time, and making sure that we get everything fixed and working flawlessly before we just, let off the brake and go full throttle here. So
How
Okay,
are
lovely.
we? Sorry, how are we going to be able to get the link to get started? Will it just trickle down at one point? We'll receive it? Because I know that some people are already in and testing it and everything.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
just whoever invited you.
Yeah, get your upline.
Yeah, whoever invited you.
Who's your upline?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I'll just wait until that one trickles down then.
Yeah, if you can get with me, I'll find out who that is and see how close it is to you.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, thanks, Micah, for everything.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for coming on such short notice here. And I'm sorry I have to cut this thing short. I wish I could keep going here and answer a few more, but I've got to hop on this. But let's we'll probably do this again, like maybe this weekend, and we can answer any final questions that people have once we're ready for full launch. So thank you guys all
That'd
so
be
much for
great.
coming. Can't wait.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great night.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.